I'm going to show you where we're going on this trip. This is the whole of India. See what a huge subcontinent it is. We're going to be in the southern part of India. We're going to do 2 circles. We come into Bangalore and we leave from Bangalore a month later.
We're cutting loose. 15 of us are leaving our North American lives behind. We're on a spiritual expedition through one of our oldest civilizations and birthplace of most of the world's major religions, the subcontinent of India. Our guide and traveling guru is Dr. Darrol Bryant. He's one of Canada's foremost interfaith educators, a teacher who believes in taking education out of the classroom.
I grew up on the plains of North Dakota, up near the Canadian border. And there are 2 things that characterize that environment: a boundless sky and an endless horizon, right? And I think that that was a really important place for me to be, okay? And I grew up near the border. From the family farm, the only building that we could see from the haymow was across the border in Manitoba. So I increasingly come to think of myself as a child of the prairies and a border crosser, because I've crossed many, many borders in my life. And one of those crucial crossings was when I went to university. And, you know, it just began to open up worlds for me that were just amazing. And that's what education was all about for me, and has continued to be, to give people alternative worlds in which to live. Hi, I'm Darrol Bryant.
So good to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you. Vicky, is it Vicky? From Alberta and BC. Darrol Bryant.
I'm Lisa Messina.
Yeah, well, you know my daughter, Emma. And you're?
Andrew Bathory.
Andrew, nice to meet you.
My name's Andrew. I'm going on this trip to do a bit of searching within myself, outside of my comfort zones.
I'm Lisa. I have this thing, I've always wanted to go to India. I love the food, I love the music. I'm looking to be a master yogi, so this is where the roots of yoga all began, so I'm looking to have that experience with another part of the world.
Oh, another person. Matt. Matt,
How are you?
great, and you?
I'm great. I'm Matt, and I've just finished my undergrad in religious studies, and I thought it'd be a great way to cap off my education to travel to a place as diverse as India. And when I heard that Dr. Bryant was leading the trip, it made an otherwise daunting task seem like a great idea. I think he'd be a great tour guide. And I traveled once with him in Prague, and I loved the experience. And so I thought if ever I was to go to India, it should be with Dr. Bryant.
Okay, guys and girls, we're only, 3 days away Got your passports?
Yeah. Yep.
And visa.
Visa? Oh, you've even brought yours along. Great.
Do I have to call you Darrol Bryant this whole time?
You have to call me Professor.
Professor.
When we're together as a group, call me any number of things. When we're in with other people at a university or we're at a mosque, then it's better that you call me by my formal name, or either Professor Bryant or Dr. Bryant or whatever, just because Indian public life is always much more formal. I'm going to take my South India book, and remember, don't be late.
You said we have
See
to
you
be there
around
at
there
5:40,
2:30.
right?
Yeah. See you 2:30 on Monday.
My dad says that I'm ruining his life because I'm going on this trip. They're going to be on pins and needles forever, and I told him I'm scared too, but I think that this is going to be a big, big, exciting thing for me, and will be worth it.
So,
We'll be there.
see you then.
See you Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I like the idea that we're going to stay in ashrams with the gurus Dr. Bryant has relationships with. I like the idea that we're going to be welcomed into otherwise perhaps inaccessible communities. It's been a long trip, like 30 hours or more, I think, since we left Toronto. Let's see what our room's like. This building's huge. Nice big bathroom.
We have a lot of new experiences ahead, but before our trip can really begin, Darrol gives us an introduction to some of the basics of Indian culture and religion.
My grandmother, who's extremely Christian, and she's worried that I'm going to come back a Buddhist and worshiping a God that in her eyes doesn't exist. So she's a bit nervous about that, but I assure her, Grandma, I'll come back safe and sound, I promise.
Andrew's grandma needn't worry. Our journey is about learning, even though sometimes even the act of learning about those who are different from ourselves can feel threatening, especially when it comes to something as closely tied to our sense of identity as religion. But before any learning can begin, we have some shopping to do. Darrol's instructions for the trip allowed only one backpack each.
Dr. Bryant told us we'd buy most of our clothes here.
It's all part of our immersion experience.
We were instructed just to pack carry-on and what we were wearing. I thought that was pretty neat, that we'd be buying Indian clothing.
It's important to make that transition at the very basic level. We have to be back at Darrol, blending into that world rather than just being a traveler in a very, very new world. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you guys going that way?
There.
Okay.
Darrol leaves the women to
right.
find clothes wherever they can, or to get them custom made.
The men, unfortunately, get the short end of the stick. The women have these beautiful saris and all these brightly colored silks and this fantastic array of clothing they can wear. And it's not as exciting for us.
The men set off with Darrol to visit his tailor in the Muslim district.
You'll notice how the things start to change as we move up this street. Salam. Hello, salam.
He navigates the maze of back streets and Bangalore neighborhoods from his many previous visits.
Hi. Hi. Salam. Bye. Bye.
And along the way, he never misses an opportunity to make new friends.
Where you come from?
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dr. Bryant.
Dr. Bryant.
Yeah.
How is our India?
India's wonderful,
Wonderful.
always wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I come many times. And your name?
Darrol.
Syed Rose.
I'm a Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. And I see they're expanding the mosque, making it bigger.
They'll take it 5 times.
5 times?
Yeah.
Can I come?
Welcome.
Yeah?
welcome.
Okay, good, I will.
And that's how it goes. How Darrol believes in changing the world, one conversation at a time.
There's our Western tailor. Hello. Hello. How are you? We need you to make something for this big man.
Big shoulders.
Big shoulders.
Big heart.
Same kind of shirt.
Darrol's in his element.
I don't understand.
You will be taken come.
I love this. I love going here, not having the shared language and trying to figure it out. I've done this enough that it always works out. Because you get 2 inside pockets too. You'd be amazed how useful these are.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty neat. It was a very small tailor, his shop. It was just 5 feet by 5 feet and 1 sewing machine, but it got the job done. It's a neat experience. It's a good way to get in the mindset of being in India. I'd like to think it helps us fit in, but I have a feeling we still stand out.
Look at my new clothes. No more pajamas.
Darrol's daughter Emma has her own approach to shopping.
I go and I find somebody I really like, and then I buy all my stuff from them and I spend time with them. You know French songs? Yeah, I just try and make friends, find people that I can have some sort of connection with.
I just got back from a long day of shopping. I got this beautiful, beautiful outfit. And these pants are quite something. They seem to be 3 times as big as me. They're actually an extra large, but that's how they're supposed to look. And the bottoms are beautiful too. They have a nice cuff at the bottom.
We're ready to embark on our very first visit.
This is the #1 breakfast this morning. Yes. My favorite. Upama. And a sweet and toast and tea. Great breakfast.
We're beginning our journey. We're going to visit the Sikhs, and I'm pretty stoked about that. I've studied India, I've seen pictures, but it's a totally different experience to be here.
One of the things, we'll all be wearing something over our heads, so that if the women have a scarf or something to wear, just to be on the safe side, you might carry something with you that you could use as a head covering. Males and females cover their heads in the Gurdwara.
Darrol hasn't been able to connect with his regular contact in the city, but decides we should head out anyway. Even without an appointment, he's confident we'll be received. As we navigate the unbelievably congested Bangalore traffic, he explains how the Sikh faith is known for its hospitality. Gurdwaras are always open and typically have doors on all 4 sides to represent welcoming people from the 4 corners of the globe. The doors, named after Sikh values, are peace, livelihood, learning, and grace. We're We're finally about to enter the world Darrol's been involved with most of his life. First, as an academic, Distinguished Professor Emeritus at Renison University College in Waterloo, with degrees from Harvard and St. Michael's in Toronto. He's written and edited more than 20 books, authored an encyclopedia on religion in the modern world, and established his own Center for Interreligious Dialogue. It's an impressive set of credentials, but this, here, is what Darrol's really about, taking a group of neophytes on their first visit to a Gurdwara. It's what he loves to do. He calls it living encounter. We're not reading about ceremonial washing, but stepping into the experience, actually getting our feet wet. As promised, we receive a warm reception. We're hosted by one of the Gurdwara committee members, since Sikhs have no ordained priests. A refreshing lack of structure and hierarchy. In the main hall, we learn about Sikh fundamentals, their commitment to equality for everyone, which means that although men and women sit on different sides, everyone sits on the ground, a place of humility toward the focus in every Gurdwara, the Sikh scripture. It's housed in the colorful display at the front of the room. And it's this book that's replaced the entire lineage of Sikh leaders, or gurus as they're called.
I thought it was really interesting how the last guru decided that they weren't going to follow any certain leader anymore and that they would just follow the guidelines set out through all the scriptures and hymns that they sang. I think he felt that, they couldn't learn any more from man. They just had to follow by the rules that were made to just be kind to everyone and make it work in that way rather than following one man's word.
It was, I think, a noble act of the last human guru to declare there would be none other after him, but still leave the book as a living guru. That is intriguing.
Interestingly, it's not a book of rules or regulations. It's a collection of poems and songs.
They sing their scriptures. For a Sikh individual, I'm sure the experience is more moving than a dry reading you might get from other religious text.
Now that we're here, where does this journey start? How do we begin to connect with what's new and different?
It's very simple. Approach them with respect. In a Hindu mandir, when we're in a Muslim mosque, when we're in the Sikh Gurdwara, wherever it is that we are.
Sisters of our religion, Guru Gobind Singh.
If we give to them a sense that we respect their tradition, then all the doors are open to us. In that center.
The Gurdwara is more than a place to worship. It's also a learning and community center that provides shelter and food. Like everyone who comes, we're invited to stay for a meal called langar.
Langar is a very important practice within the Sikh tradition. Everyone's seated on the ground, everyone's treated the same, everyone's served the same thing. A symbol of equality within the community. We're all in it together.
Religion says that God is one and everybody is welcome in the Gurdwara. Every day you can have langar here. Lunch also, dinner also. Every Sunday about 4,000 persons come here, Sikh and non-Sikhs from other religions. There will be about 200 people cooking in the langar.
They're feeding everyone of different cultures, and it's one of those things where with food, like with music, it brings people together. Everybody needs that.
I also like the emphasis on the constant remembrance of God. Putting God into your consciousness when you wake in the morning, think about God, pray, go to the river, and so on and so forth, and try to maintain that sort of consciousness throughout the day. That, it seems to me, is the heart of what the Sikhs are all about. Well, we're leaving Darrol Kendra. We're on our way up country to the Siragiri, which is the center of this particular community. We're going to be on the road for about 12 days, and there's a variety of communities that we will be visiting on this trip. Here's our bus, and we'll be off. Come on.